Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL. And today I just made an interesting bracelet. This was one of the ones submitted by my new craft for the Blindsided Creations. It was pattern number 92285 over on Bracelet book. I suspect that this was probably picked because of the fact that it kind of jumps back and forth from side to side. It kind of looks like a fish as well. I don't know. That's my take on it. I've got it in my hand. If you're wondering why I'm looking down. It's a little bit on the difficult side, I would say. Not so crazy that, whatever, a beginner couldn't pick it up and do it. But it was enough that I had to kind of look at the pattern quite frequently. That said, I kind of got the feeling that, like, if I were to do this a few times, I could probably get away with not having the pattern after doing a little bit. So if you're the kind of person who makes 4 or 5 bracelets for a group of friends, by the time you got a couple of these done, I think you'll probably be fine. It's cute. It's a cool bracelet. Like I said, I kind of get why it was given to me. I did make a mistake. It was really careless. I think I paused to maybe get something to drink or something, and then didn't realize I hadn't put in a row and started to kind of come around and go over it. And I was like pretty quick to be like, nope, that's not right. And made the fix. As far as like how even the strings are, they're not very even. So if you are the kind that cuts corners and tries to make them short, you will have to switch things around. I didn't have to, but then again, I cut my strings rather long, so that's the trade-off. Some of the ones in the middle, like where they just kind of do that, those were fine. If a string was kind of just going straight and could continue straight, that's what I did. I didn't make zigzags necessarily if I didn't have to. And so the ones that do like a long straight, like that long straight blue row that came down to the right, that's going to do another long straight blue row going down to the left. And it's just going to kind of keep doing this, and that's why it gets used so much. Granted, I could have changed it off a number of times and made it so that way I didn't use it so much, but I kind of felt like that was sort of, I don't know. If I didn't have to, I wasn't going to. And I kind of wanted also to see, like, how bad was it. I still had plenty of tassel room left with the strings that I cut. Again, I cut them in thirds, which is longer than some people actually tend to do. But I kind of wanted to see how that played out, see where it was going to go with it. But like I said, it was an interesting pattern. This isn't like the kind of thing that I would have just kind of come up with on my own, I don't think. Which is why the Blindsided Creations challenges are so good for me, because I'm going out of my own normal league of designs. Which opens up the ideas for future projects. There might have been an aspect of this that I need to complete a different project later on, and I'll be able to go back and be like, use those resources and be able to make something completely new and different because I've had the challenge, because I've come to get to know some patterns like I wouldn't have. So I think this is a good idea. If you guys are interested in getting a shout out, send me your bracelets that you think I should try out and that maybe I wouldn't have normally chosen. And it's really easy. All I need is the pattern number, which website it comes from, and the number of strings in the bracelet, so I can have a template ready to go. So that way it just kind of doesn't slow us down, kind of thing. And yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll be calling out your name here soon enough. So yeah. Oh, the whole bracelet took me an hour and 20 minutes. So for 16 strings, you think that's not too bad? I definitely think it could go faster. Like if I was doing an arrowhead, I wonder how much time that would take, you know, or something else that I'm like really familiar with. But yeah, it wasn't a terrible amount of time for 16 strings, I don't think. And I think a lot of that is it really does segment pretty well. There's a couple different ways I could have done like a long row. And so each time I had to choose which way was it going to be, because like that orange coming down to the right is very long row, but so was the one going to the left. And you only get one of the two when you pick which way you're going to go with it. So I kind of went with just whatever was kind of comfortable at the time, and I kind of went with like this little thing with where it does a little like a little partial diamond shaped thing, you know, and then I get to make a nice long row coming down. But that's optional. You don't really have to follow the way I did it. It just worked out pretty well. Oh, the blue has 6 times that makes its, you know, the fish type design. And so after I got like done with 3, I'm like, okay, cool, halfway, you know, and 4th one. And so there was something that made it feel like it was going kind of quick. It wasn't really all that quick though in reality, right? So it's again one of those patterns that's kind of rewarding, that you kind of can go, yes, I finished an area and stuff. And like now, right, this is got to be more than the halfway point, right? So I am reminded to thank my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members who make this stuff possible, because yeah, I need Floss to do stuff, and yeah, they contribute. Even if it's YouTube members, is like what, $4 in the US currency, $5 in Singapore. It may not seem like a lot to you, but it means the world to me. It really does, because it adds up and it helps me to afford to do better things and have better cameras and things like that. So if you're wanting to see patterns early or behind the scenes stuff, you know, it's not that expensive. I really did try to make it affordable, because I want people to be able to check it out and have fun, and, you know, kind of help me with the direction of where the channel goes. Because if there's a decision to be made, I usually put it up to both my YouTube members and the Patreon people. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I don't think if there's anything else that... Oh, when I started, I had to send a blue to the left-hand side and send an orange to the right-hand side. And when I first started doing it, I messed up and I didn't send the blue over to the other side, and I couldn't figure out why the numbers weren't making sense. And I had to take it apart and then restart it over. Kind of a rookie mistake in my mind, but yeah, the way that it starts isn't balanced, and it helps if you realize that, you get it going right from the start. So yeah, I suppose I could have maybe started the bracelet sooner and found maybe a point where they are balanced, the same numbers, but the pattern design like that I worked from, the number of rows is exactly the number of rows that I think makes for a good sized bracelet. So that way it ends up, you know, fitting pretty much anybody's wrist. If you're bigger, yeah, just use more tassel. Smaller, doesn't fit. So yeah. Mind you, my patterns are based off of my string, which is the stuff that I get out of China. So it's thicker than some of the other stuff, like say DMC. So if you are working with DMC, you might extend the pattern a little bit longer, right? So just get the graph paper off my website, put it on, you know, use the design, try to find out how many rows you want, and then just kind of recreate the pattern for yourself. It's not that difficult. You watch me making the patterns, you'll see it's really not so hard. So yeah. Oh, I'm more zoomed in than we normally were doing before when it came to making the bracelets, which I think is kind of nice. It's easier to see what's kind of going on. It doesn't have so much white space. But then when I do the reveal, I zoomed back out so that way you could see the whole bracelet better. So I'm trying new things. I'm trying to make it easier to see and you know, whatever. But yeah, this one, honestly, I just picked two very contrasting colors, but honestly, this could have been fun in a black and white, or, you know, red and blue, or, you know, just about anything. Just as long as you have like enough contrast, because right, you don't want it to be too close here. It's obvious that the two color pattern, a good contrast makes sense, right? And yeah, I really like these colors together. Fun. Kind of good summer kind of bracelet, I think. If you had a nice tan going, this would definitely complement it. So yeah. Mind you, I guess it's winter in, you know, the southern areas like Australia or South America and stuff. So you just have to wait to wear it later on, I guess. I guess that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, I definitely got faster as I went along. I kind of see it in the video itself. It like, and of course part of that is because the strings get shorter, right? So there's less to pull through. But I think there was also like, I got used to how the pattern works and what I'm doing with it. And so, yeah, there's that element, I'm sure, as well. That the more familiar you are with the pattern, the less double checking everything that you're doing. So, yeah. Oh, and look, getting to the end. So that's the two strings are kind of like way over to the side, or because I have a small clip off to the side of the board that I'm using, and I know that I'm not using them anymore, so I set them off to the side like that. So yeah, we're getting near the end here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, though. Really, it makes a big difference. I think YouTube says if more people watch it to the end, that there is more value. So if you've been hanging out this long, you've actually done a great deal to helping me out. So thank you guys very, very much for that. Yeah, it's almost the very end now. So yeah, guys, thanks, and kind of waiting. I don't want to too soon. Here we go. Don't get your strings in a bunch.